That was just pre-stuff. Welcome, everybody. Welcome very much. Lovely to have you here on this beautiful day. Lovely to have you back. This beautiful day. How many of you are familiar with the teachings of Shinzen? Okay, so we've got basically a third. Most people who encounter him at first find what he teaches to be quite complicated and rich with choices, but maybe a little overwhelming. I happen to believe that what he's teaching is key, but sometimes you don't get through that initial. It's like you wanted to play the piano, but all those scales and stuff, and you just went, never mind. So sometimes the initial introduction to what's going to be involved before you can play Beethoven, people don't go through it. So I like to think of myself as his warm-up act, and I like to, how can I make it easier? How can I make it simpler, but still tune you into the gift of what he's offering that I do not see any other meditation teacher offering? A way of looking at our experience. And when I say our experience, how you think, how you feel, how you know who you are, when, where, why, how you feel about that. All of your senses, plus your thought process, all these tell you you're here and you're wearing what you're wearing, and that you need what you need, right? And that you came from where you came from. You can look at that experience in a way that can create a lot of freedom. And when I say freedom, I mean freedom from suffering. So, and my technical term for suffering is ick. If anything else feels icky, whether you have a relationship with someone and it just kind of went, ooh, ick, ooh, I don't feel good, pressure here, or whether you just drove through traffic and it was intense or something. Anytime you feel anything that is unpleasant and there's a holding on to that in some way, I'm going to label that as suffering, because we use the word suffering, we tend to think, we're pinned to a cross or something. But any time where we're not happy and at ease. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, we're going to divide our entire experience into 3 parts, each a 1-syllable word, and that's what we're going to do today. See, hear, feel. That's it. See? You learned it all. Cool. See how easy that was? That was good. He's ready to go. With the goal of looking at our experience, with our goal of experiencing the world with less suffering, it can be incredibly helpful and or powerful to divide your experience into these 3 categories. They are actually 3 sensory modalities. Visual, anything you're seeing. You see the world, and you close your eyes, you see pictures, you see mental images, right? And those affect you unconsciously more than you know. You could be hearing sounds of the world, maybe responding, ooh, that's pleasant, that's unpleasant, and hearing that voice in your head, which tends to drive and distort our perception and behavior big time. And somatic, you could be feeling something in your body. You could be feeling the weight, just some neutral things, clothes on the skin, butt on the cushion, tongue in the mouth, or you could be feeling emotions. Somewhere is body sensation. But all that translates down into body, somatic, visual, seeing, and auditory, hearing. So what I'm doing today is, usually I do some wise Dharma talk, which I guess today would have been the puppy thing. And then that takes us into a meditation. Today I'm going to tell you what I'm going to guide in the meditation. And then if you have a question, you can ask the question, then I will guide the meditation. So be comfortable. I've just described basically what it is. But what I'm going to take us through is body. You say, well, if your attention's in the body, I'm going to take us on a tour through body sensation, that some body sensation you may not have considered before. You may not have considered even noticing before. Some may be quite subtle, some may be quite powerful, right? A way to tune you in, and tuning into the body really makes you present. So and because, normally when I do this meditation, it's like 2 hours, I'll be doing a shortened version of it, so it'll be just kind of touching through like on a tour, like, yes, and over there is that, and over there is that, and moving right along, right? So it'll just be a light sensitization to the body. And then you will have the sense of just noting when your awareness is in the body. Then I will go to hearing, which has a higher difficulty factor of keeping track of. Because the space, most people tend to know where their body is, right? Most people kind of have that sense of where their body is. Where you hear your internal talk, for a lot of people, can be what? There's a place? What do you mean, where? So finding the actual spatial location of where the voice in your head manifests can be quite powerful and also unusual, so that can be a new thing for a lot of people. You'll find it for most people would be at the ears, maybe inside the head, maybe around the head, but usually somewhere in the vicinity of the head will be where you hear that voice when you talk to yourself, and I'll guide you through that. When you listen out to sound, well, you say you listen forward and back, but really we have our ears, right? So it's really kind of like satellite dishes in both directions. And when you hear that part of that satellite dish and that part of that satellite dish, that tells you it's the center. Like when you set up speakers and you do it right, it sounds like the sound's coming out the middle, right? So putting together all somatic experience is easy. It's all in the body. Putting together all auditory, hear experience, is a little more difficult because the shape is this in the head plus out there. Keeping track of all that, in or out, is here. So that's going to be, we're going to spend a little time just lining those up so you get a sense that that's really all hearing. Right? So that'll probably be the one that'll be the biggest challenge in that way. Maybe the most fun and insightful too. We'll see. The third is visual. Well, everyone pretty much knows when you look out, you see sight. And then your eye moves, and now you see a new sight, right? That's not rocket science. We got that one down. The other part of sight is with the eyes open. There could be a restful aspect of sight where you're looking out, but it's soft focus. You're not looking at something, right? You're just kind of seeing colors and shapes, but I'm not really coming in to see texture and detail, right? That could be a restful state. With the eyes closed, you could see mental images, pictures. For some people, those are clear like photographs. Absolutely clear like a photograph. For other people, it's just a vague, hazy impression. They don't actually see something, but they know that image is there. Doesn't matter. Either is powerful. So we have the mental images on the inside. And then, when there's no mental images, you can close your eyes and just look at what's there. It's kind of a blank screen of lightness and darkness, and there'll probably be colors, but we ignore them. And there might be movement, it might be static, doesn't matter. But that's all visual. You're seeing that, you're seeing the image, you're seeing out. So that's still a little easier, and almost everyone's image is in front of them. I haven't met anybody yet who has a lot of image behind them, right? So that spatial location will be helpful. It might be here, might be all the way out. Make sense? Cool. That's what we're going to do. Any questions about that? It was a long description of what will ultimately be a simplified, just see, hear, feel.